Hello, my name is Amina and I'm your decision making specialist. And we around me are still in shelter and in place. That's the operative word. We're still here. And wherever you are, I hope that you're doing well and that as many people as possible around all of us and beyond are doing as well as they can. And as we prepare to go out there, or we're going out there, and wow, what a different world. It looks the same building, didn't change the street signs, fortunately, so we still know our way around physically. Mentally, emotionally, some shifts going on. And I received a call from a young woman. All of my clients are very special to me, and she's especially special. And she texted and asked if I had some time to talk, and I did, and I said, of course. And so I called, and she's been dating this young man. I haven't met him in person. She's talked about him, I think. I want to say they've been dating for I'm going to say about 7 months, and I'm not real clear on that. That's my recollection. And when she called, I said, what's going on? And she said, I'll just call him Tim. Tim and I broke up. And I don't know about you. Have you ever asked somebody something and a question, and you really cared, and you really wanted to be prepared to listen to the answer? And then as it happened to you, it happened to me with her, and I'm guessing it happens to all of us at some point, maybe ourselves. And she suddenly just started weeping and crying and then sobbing. And I was trying to grasp what she said about she and Tim breaking up. We had worked really vigorously together to help her have better communication than she had in the last, and she certainly picked a better fellow in terms of their matching and their being kind and generous and caring to each other. They'd walked through a lot of different miles, and they were doing, at least by what I could hear, just fine. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry, what happened? And in the middle of her sobbing and then being able to talk, she said he told me that he wasn't ready for our relationship. And I said, sorry, this was really, really impactful. And I said, what does that mean? What does that mean to Tim? And she said, what it means is what he said, and that is that the relationship is just marvelous and that the timing is just off, that he's in the midst of trying to work up his courage to leave one company and to join another, and that he's having a very difficult time with that, and he's very confused. And she, on the other hand, knows exactly where she's going, what road she's going on, and she's on her way. And he's not. he was. And he said, I can't pretend about my job anymore. And she said, did you pretend about us? And he said, never, never. He said, I have just got to have time to be able to focus on where I'm going and what I want and who I am. I realized taking time to really ask myself some deep questions. I've always let my family make those choices for me. It was, in a certain way, it was easier until now it's not. It's like having somebody else pick out my clothes or pick out my apartment or my car. And I'm grateful that they want to help. I'm grateful that they're doing what they're doing, except when I get in the car, it just doesn't feel like mine. And the shoes, I can wear them. I can make do. And one way that you have helped me in so many ways, and I know this sounds a little crazy, and Tim told her that you have helped me know how important it is to be able to understand what I want and where I want to go. And most of all, who I want to be as a person, how I want to show up. And the biggest gift of all is that you've given me the courage. And I know this means that I'm using part of that courage to tell you that I'm not ready for a relationship. The other part of that courage is I really love you very much. And the other third part is that I have finally given myself permission to be myself without feeling guilty and worrying that I am hurting my parents. And dang, I know that he probably didn't use the word dang. And he said, and I want you to know and believe, if you can, that hurting you was never part of my plan, ever. And she, in between all of that, had started crying. And I said, what do you believe? And she said, I'm realizing that we've given each other a gift. And she said, I don't always think that. She says, I've been mad and thought he tricked me and on and on and on. And what I figured out is that I am still who I am, except I've realized, I've heard a lot about people saying it's the illusion of control, it's the fantasy, we really don't have control. And you know what, Amina? I don't have control. If I did, and I said, I know, if I'd have gotten my magic wand in my package, I would be helping you use it. And I said, not to control, I would be helping you use it to light your way. And she wept some more, and I listened, and I told her I was really sorry and really sad to hear that news. And she said, you asked me, did I believe him? And there was a time when I would not. I would have thought that he betrayed me. I would have thought that he was being selfish. I would have thought that I was tricked. And most of all, I would have thought that I am not worthwhile. I don't deserve that good relationship, and that somehow he peeked behind the curtain and knew I wasn't the one because I wasn't good enough. And I said, wow, what helped you shift? And again, I asked a question. I didn't know what the answer was. And I would like, with your permission, to tell you the answer that she told me. She said, I'm remembering the story about the movie theater. And I thought, oh, and then I remembered. Long time ago, when something had happened to her and she was so upset by one of her friends that she had had a quarrel with, and then something happened and she was sure that her friend did it on purpose. So I told her the story of the 3 people in the movie theater. And I'm going to tell you that story. I don't know where you're at in your life. I don't know that it will have any impact. That's not the point. The point is, I just like to share it with you, and maybe someday it will be important to you, or be important to somebody that gives you a phone call that's really difficult for you to hear because of the sadness that it can cause whoever's on the phone, and the empathy that you have for understanding, oh yeah, I've been sad, you've been sad, we've all been sad. Whew, not fun, a breakup, not fun at all. And we can't fast forward, and if we could, when we got to real time, those feelings would just be stacked up and we'd be even more miserable. Of course, I did not tell her that, because we all have to learn how to find our way through that pain. We have to honor all the layers of feelings. And we only can do that if we take step by step. And I am really grateful that somehow that story about the 3 people in the movie theater helped. So here goes for you, just in case it might be something you want to hear. So as it goes, the theater is dark, the movie is starting, and the lights have dimmed. And somewhere in the midst of that movie, the person is sitting in a chair and has his or her feet tucked as much as they can under the seat. These aisles are very narrow. And of course, as always happens, somebody walks across them as they're trying to get out to the aisle for whatever reason, and they're trying to be very cautious, and suddenly, ouch, they stepped on the first big toe of that seated person's foot. Oh, I don't have to tell you how that can hurt, especially if you have thin shoes on or sandals with no covering whatsoever. Oh my gosh. So the person's trying very carefully to just not yell at the person, and because it hurts. And so if you ever stubbed your toe or somebody has stepped on it, oh my gosh, you know that hurts. And just probably doesn't make that noise. That's just how I imagine it. And so that person goes by, and then, what are the odds? Little ways into the movie, another person walks by, and would you know it, stepped right on that same toe. Felt like the same amount of weight the same little edge, little corner of the toe, and the same pain. Person didn't realize that they had stepped on the other person's toe and walked out. Oh, all right, back to the movie, and right in part of the movie that's really exciting, here comes another shadow, walks by, and yep, you're right, steps on that toe. And the seated person had moved, done everything they could to tuck their feet underneath. They didn't want to have that pain again. And guess what? Same edge, same pain. Person walked over to the aisle. Now, with the reverse, because this is my story and I saw it, and I'll reverse that in my mind, and we're going to bring the lights up. And the seated person is going to see the three people that stepped on his or her toe. Here it is. First person is a total stranger. Second person is the friend that they had just had a quarrel with, same as my client. And the third one is somebody that was their very best friend, someone they were very close to. And guess what? The interpretation is going to be different because of the belief. If it is somebody that you've had a quarrel with, or you're not really excited about, or don't care for some reason, the inclination of that belief is that that person did it on purpose. Walked by, could have ignored your toe, did it on purpose. Second one about the stranger, well, you know, maybe they could have paid more attention. They didn't know me, so how could they just do it on purpose? And so you give a little more leeway to that person, maybe a lot of leeway, than the third one. That's your really dear friend, someone you really care about. Of course they didn't mean it. That's just automatic. And if they say they're sorry, you believe it. If the one you've had a quarrel with says, I'm sorry, right. If it's the stranger, it's okay, thank you for apologizing. So we have three different reactions, three different behaviors in our mind. And it's actually, if you could scientifically measure it, be the same. It's because of our belief. What do we believe? And so when I asked my client what she believed that he really meant every word he said, and that stepping on her toe was something he did not want to do. And the only thing is that when he said yes to so many of his other questions about needing to search, needing time to really differentiate and be himself and find out who that was, then that meant saying no to something else, and that something else was their relationship. She believed him. And I'm offering to you, what do you believe? If someone does something to you, or somebody says something, or you hear something, or you read something, how do you know what to believe? How do you decide? And if you believe something, which she did in the very beginning, that she had been tricked and betrayed, as her experience with another relationship, her actions would be different. And when she realized that he really meant what he said, what actually happened is she shifted her belief. Maybe I'm not going to hang on to that belief. So that is the story. And I am not going to tell you what to do or ask about your beliefs or anything. I want that to be between you and yourself. And check when you take action. Is that the belief that will help you get more of what you want? Is that the belief that will help you be who you are? That doesn't mean you go letting her, people step on your toe and says, oh, they didn't mean it, everything's fine. Sometimes, even if they accidentally step on your toe, it does hurt. And you mentioned that. And whether you respond with that or whether you react and get really furious and refuse to talk to them or walk away or any of those things, pay attention first to what you believe and then notice whatever you believe. That emotion is what determines your behavior. Interesting how that goes. Belief, emotion, behavior. All right, and check your beliefs, because I believe, and maybe I'm totally wrong, check me on that, I believe that you want your very best story, and I believe that you want to notice if your beliefs are helping you be who you want, get where you want to go, and arrive with the story that you want to live and share, and the legacy that you want everybody to remember about who you are and your beliefs. Thanks for coming. Click that subscribe button. I really want to know that you're here. Leave a comment and come back tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be here, and I will be looking for you. Matter of fact, I know I'll be here because they haven't changed any of the in-shelter rules, so I'll be here. All right, bye for now.